Oh, Cringe Society were in the sink. They got rinsed in the last one, but hopefully we see a fresh new team in series number 3 so that we can see it deliver. And are we expecting that, CJ?
Well, you say Cringe are in the sink. I'm looking forward to Drippe putting it in the top bins throughout this series. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait for it. Here it is. They've reset. They've had the time to mentally reset, Jay. Cringe Society, they got absolutely wiped in the second series. First series, they look good. Ground Zero didn't look hot. Third series, what do you got for me? Give me a quick prediction off the bat.
Look, I think this is favoring Ground Zero, but both teams have shown that when they are, stepping up mechanically, especially individually, they're the ones to take it out, and you just have to favor Ground Zero with the likes of Torsos and Amphis on the team.
Yeah, there's room, I think, for some more plays coming out from both Deca and Jules, which is, in its own right, something that we could look out for. Maybe if one of those two start really upping their performance, then we will see a very dominant Cringe Society, but it feels like more of the Ground Zero members are on form right now.
And with demo plays coming out like that off the back, game number 1, that could be all the way open. I think Tor's going to be able to get back. Yeah, it's a little bit wide, but there it is. Express being a nuisance, bumpy drip off the boost. He's going to have 0, be slow back here, and this is where Ground Zero can start a counter-attack, and with touches like that from Express, they're looking pretty good. Game number 1 as Amphis takes it upstairs as well.
Look, CJ, I know we stalled a little bit on your prediction in the first series, but I want to get it nice and early. Who are you backing here to take the big trophy home?
I'm really glad you said something because I'm throwing out predictions, but no one's taking them. No one's taking the bait. So look, I really think Ground Zero are going to win, but I'm going to go Game 7 because I just want to see a great series. I want to see the two teams performing at their best. Ground Zero Cringe Society need to step up, and with demos like that, plays like that, that is what Cringe Society needs. None other than Drippe opening it up here in the final series, the deciding series of the OCE Championship.
And that's what we were missing. Get series number 1, all about the demos. And there we see them come out again, demoing the third man. A very powerful prospect against Ground Zero, who are really pushing 2 people up.
And it's just such a great way to take the pressure off yourself. It's hard to know you have to absolutely pop off to get past these defenses. So with one less player, it makes it a hell of a lot easier.
Some more double commits coming out from Ground Zero at the same time, CJ.
Yeah, look, it's interesting. As we said, they were probably a little bit angry last night, a little bit aggressive, which is why the double kits are coming out. But I think in the final series, you have to think this is when the pressure's at the highest, the nerves are at their highest. I understand they just had a really comfortable series, but they've, both teams have hit the reset button here, Jake. This is a brand new series, and Torsos, he doesn't mind. He's going to continue that dominance from series number 2, getting that equalizer here. Fantastic shot.
And it's so selfless from Amphis there. Just not at one point was he going for the shot. He knew Drippe had him the whole way, so he pushes it high, commits to the dunk, and trusts that Torsos will be there to sink it home for him.
I think that's such an underrated part of Amphis's game. He kind of knows exactly where his opponents are going to hit it. And I think the same for Express too. They're both players that have been known to get these dunk goals, these dunk setups against their opponents because they just have such a good read. And that was potentially a chance here for Torsos that may still open up.
They're just looking so calm, so cool, so collected in the offensive half. Defensively, we're not too sure just yet as Cringe Society. They're trying to stage the offense around. There's a big miss coming out for Express and Amphis. He just gets back in time here. Cringe Society, they're not looking to rest on their laurels. They're pushing forward. They're looking to get that goal here. And, we talk about them happy with the 1-1, Jake, but they're really looking to push here with 2 minutes left.
Oh, and beautifully recovered. Amphis almost getting an amazing double touch, but you can see some shaky moments on the defense, but some brilliant passing out of Ground Zero to get them out of their half with the low boost.
I'm loving how bold Cringe Society look as well. On the attack, they're really pushing up, and that's something we saw earlier on in that first series, how comfortable they were on the aggression, how strong they were, and it feels like that's a full implementation they've got after this break.
Amphis puts that one away. Ground Zero. What is happening here, Jake? They're starting to just style. The touch comes out, the pre-jump. I'm not sure if you can possibly predict that, but sometimes the ball just falls in your lap, and Amphis, well, he's got a magnet attached to his car because it just fell straight in front of him.
That's the kind of goal you're getting casual when you're chilling, you're having some fun, you're going for some pre-jumps, and Amphis takes it out in the first series when it's do or die for them, and that's
it's open.
That's got to hurt for Cringe Society, and then more and more for Cringe Society. They're going to need to bring it back now.
That's great communication. Amphis calling that fake by a mile. He definitely did. And these plays by Amphis, we've seen them come out, but we've seen them come out in series where they're 3-0 up in the games or they're 7-0 up in a single game, and then Amphis has some fun with it and goes wild. He's bringing that out in the most important series of the season.
It's just crazy, these sort of plays. And as you said, the trust was huge. Amphis calling the fake, and Jules just respected, everyone has so much respect for Amphis that he can just throw those fakes in, because Jules went so high in that, expecting the touch coming out, the dink, the redirect, and that's another open net. Express misses it, goes for the bump. That should be a goal. And that's what you do when you miss the open net, ladies and gentlemen. You just open it up for the teammate behind you.
Yeah, well played for Express. A very quick recovery there, and Jules just nothing he can do there. Express, that's really his bread and butter, those slow kind of bumps.
And I don't even know if he missed the shot. He had to get that around the last defender. Great presence of mind. And we're starting to look very similar to what we saw in game 1 of series number 2. It's really carrying away here for Ground Zero, and they even stopped this goal from coming out. Although a great infield pass, and that one gets saved as well.
Oh, and Drippe again had another opportunity. It was over the top of Tors. It was an open net, but he just couldn't quite get to it in time. As Jules, he's going to play the little bump game here. And Decker, last man, takes an awkward touch. Ground Zero, they're on the offense again, and this is exciting to see, Jake, because they're 4-1 up, and they're not happy with that. They want to go 6-1, 7-1, as Wave Punk was talking about earlier.
No, these guys are just crazy. They just, you could see how disappointed Toss was in that 6-2 game. Oh, then that 5-2 game where it didn't go 6-2, and just they just want more and more. They want to keep that momentum up, and it's so exciting and really great signs if you're a Ground Zero fan.
They can't let their heads get away from them, but I mean, that's how they managed to win the game in the first place. A double miss. Jules definitely wasn't expecting that, and that means we'll get cleared out. Game 1 goes to Ground Zero. They're one step closer to taking the championship.
And just hugely concerning signs here coming out. I know it's only game number 1. I know it's a best of 7. However, Jake, this is trending exactly the same way as we saw in series number 2. And with the big break, it doesn't look like thus far Cringe Society have found an answer to the way that Ground Zero have been playing.
No, we talked about it early. Ground Zero, they just have something about them where they just mature as the series goes on. And this format, it's longer than these players are used to. And you can see it's really favoring Ground Zero to warm up and play their best, and Cringe Society are going to have to show their best to match it, or else this might be a quick third series.
Well, speaking of that as well, I mean, obviously, CJ, you're a player. What would it be like in a series like this? 3 best of 7s back to back. How do you think they hold up mentally?
I mean, it's really tough here because there's the endurance factor, but there has to be the mindset factor as well for Cringe Society, because with the reason why this has been so one-sided in the predictions is because when Ground Zero are playing well, Cringe Society in the past have never had an answer. And I understand they won the first series, but Ground Zero weren't playing well. And now that Ground Zero are playing well, Cringe Society, Jake, they still don't have an answer, which is why it's so hard for me to sort of tell you what Cringe Society need to do, because I haven't seen Cringe Society yet counter a Ground Zero that's on form.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in the region has been able to defend it. It's just they get the goals, they rack up, and Cringe Society, they have the skill to get these goals on the board, but like 4 against a Ground Zero that's dominating possession, it's just so difficult. I think it's really up to Cringe Society to just step up individually, get Drippe scoring those crazy goals, get everyone involved, just match this high-scoring affair.
You still see Cringe Society trying to get forward, but how easy is it for somebody like Torsos to take it out of defense on his lonesome? Even still, a chance here, and Amphis will get the first goal. They are on a tirade.
This is so smart from Express. Watch this. He doesn't go off the corner. He goes the close ball to Amphis. Now, Jules was expecting the big corner touch to Tors, but Amphis instead, he half rotates close and just gets the little touch off the wall to follow up. That's the communication that you see from Ground Zero, and that's the difference between a goal and perhaps a saved opportunity there from Cringe Society. Huge play there, incredibly smart, and that could almost be another goal coming out from Torsos.
Yeah, it's really impressive just how Ground Zero can pull that off and not get confused, like you're saying. It really shows the comms. It brings out the best in Amphis, that he has the confidence to make those kind of plays, and he knows his teammates will back him up. And another fake, making it work. Torsos again reading it. The communication with these guys is just insane.
I just feel like they have the best comms in the world right now. The number of fakes they get, their air dribbles to each other, the plays that always look like one person's going to touch it and then the next person, usually Amphis to Torsos, is absolutely incredible and just throws everybody off.
It's the comms, but they've also just earned so much respect from every other opposition team in the region that when Amphis is going for a hard touch like that, every single member of Cringe Society expected him to get it. So when he fakes it, he does put it away. However, Drupe, he's trying to shut us up right now because he's buried that one and clawed the margin back in game number 2 here.
Yeah, beautiful goal. Just absolutely slams it to himself off the ceiling. A really fast play and somehow beats 2 Ground Zero defenders who were ready for it.
Well, one of them was getting bumped in the net, and that's what made it impossible. But you kind of talk about the respect from Amphis. They're clearly giving Drippe a lot of respect too, and wisely, even if it wasn't enough in that goal. Potential opportunity for Cringe Society going to waste there with that miss. Off the roof, Torsos didn't have his flip, but it still opened up a miss. Oh, so unfortunate there for Ground Zero.
Oh, just a golden opportunity there for Amphis to just extend Ground Zero's lead and put them potentially 2 games ahead here in the deciding series, but it wasn't to be. And that is something that Cringe Society, they need to take that and run with it. They need to take that as a blessing and make the most of it because they're only a goal down here with 3 minutes left, Jake, and it's certainly possible.
No, you can see that they are fighting. They are pushing those people forward, and they've got the solid defense back. They're shutting down this Ground Zero offense, and they're keeping it close. It kind of felt like Ground Zero were going to run away with this game, but there's only 1 goal in it. They can't be too comfortable.
It's been very close so far, but Express wants to change that one. They want to make it a 2-goal lead here, as I think that's more comfortable for Ground Zero. Only Cringe Society being able to hold on to the 1-goal lead, but at the moment it's just going to hang in the Ground Zero defense. They're going to have to figure out how to stop these double commits for now, or will they? Express has the flip reset, and it's the crossbar. Disappointment as Torsos still tries to make it a goal. Amphis will finish it off.
He puts it away anyway, but Express, I think he made the wrong decision. He could have just got the touch over the top, but I respect the fancy flip reset effort. Amphis does put it away. The Ground Zero offense is too much, Jake, but I think for Express, that could have been the highlight play he wanted if he just got that extra touch over the top.
Well, again, it plays into those chances later on, because that's really unpredictable from Express. You and me both, we were just expecting the fast touch. That Deca somehow expecting that kind of flip reset. Again, the fast rotations coming out of Ground Zero, making it work anyway.
Express has another opportunity right now, and he's going to sink it. Goal number 4, and Ground Zero taking not just control of this game, but of the series.
Feels backflip man for Jules. He was certainly out of position. That touch off the wall was very hard to read, and he wasn't quite in position to get it, so I don't think it wouldn't have mattered anyway, but it's unfortunate seeing the backflip. Ground Zero, however, they go 3 goals up here. They're looking strong. They're looking solid, and we're just not seeing any answers so far in the last series or this series so far from Cringe Society.
This is the late series comeback that you always tend to see, and you just don't know how Cringe Society can bring it back, just like you said.
Again, it's like it's really the match we were expecting to see from the start. But when the games are low scoring, when they're shutting down this offense, when they aren't looking as confident, it kind of helps. But Ground Zero, you can just see that they've really just gotten better and better as the days went on.
It's going to hang out in the midfield here as Amphis then will have the opportunity to get over the top. He doesn't need the goal, but as we've seen from Ground Zero, they're consistently pushing for it no matter what.
It's great to see from Ground Zero. They're just pushing forward. As we've said it all series, when they get a lead, they just want to pile it on. Whereas we saw in Cringe Society, they just want to, lock out the games. We've seen play a little bit more defensively. Ground Zero, however, they're trying to go for the highlight plays. We saw Amphis just doing ridiculous pre-jump plays at the start of this game as well. I mean, Express getting demos like that, that's going to be frustrating. That could be a goal. Great save from Jules. But Jake, with 40 seconds left and game 2 going the way of Ground Zero, is there any possible way you can see a turn in form here from Cringe to try and strangle back a hold of this series?
It's so tough because it almost feels like it relies on Ground Zero not playing as well as they are. And that's never what you want to rely on. You want to be, in control of the match, but they just are getting so outplayed at the moment, and they just can't seem to deal with this offense coming out.
Jules should be able to beat a lot of these players and create some great opportunities, but he's just not. Then it goes to the other end, and it just feels like Ground Zero are converting on everything.
Yeah, and just no one on the backboard there again. Jake alluded to it earlier, just slow rotations coming out from Cringe, and perhaps, with 15 seconds left, we'll let them off here. They're 4-1 down. They're not going to come back on this one. They have to hit the reset button at some point in this series, Jake, and I don't know. You asked me the question earlier, what do Cringe need to do? And it's just hard to say because with Ground Zero in this kind of form, they're so hard to play against. They almost need an extra player on the pitch, or just invent some new offensive power, just an offensive style that is going to be able to just counter this Ground Zero offense, because they're just so strong right now.
Honestly, I think it's really mentality focused as well. Jim had done such a great job with this team. It feels like Ground Zero have gotten more energized, more vitality running through them as the series goes on, where it feels like Cringe Society that they're starting to get a bit tired. I think they need, maybe call a timeout, maybe slap themselves awake and, bring back that fire that Ground Zero are clearly bringing, but Cringe Society just can't seem to match at the moment.
You make a really great point. Why aren't they calling the timeout? They can't wait till they go 3-0 down, and they just lost 2 really one-sided games. It's surprising to me that they're not trying to reset the momentum right now.
I mean, you make a great point. I think if you do go 3 games down, should I say, it's probably out of reach. But we just have to look at Ground Zero right now. They're looking so hot. Perhaps that's a sign of respect for just the quality of the opposition they're playing. They perhaps don't have the answers right now, and perhaps maybe just trying to just play around with this. This is an experimental game for me, game number 3 here. They just have to see what happens. They have to work around. I want to see Jules going for some solo plays. We obviously need Drippe striking, and Decker, he's got the solo play potential as well, but you just have to get so creative, Jake, against this Ground Zero defense.
Like you're saying, they just need something different. I think that's a great approach. Just try something new, see what sticks. I think Cringe Society, they really need the first goal. It feels like as soon as Ground Zero get a lead, with the way they play with the lead, how they're just so aggressive, it just flies away from Cringe Society and they can't get it back.
Well, they've tried multiple times at this point, but still, it's been so elusive for them. Though, with the touch here from Drippe, thought it might have been a potential chance at attack, but Ground Zero have just held the ball the entire time. Going to start draining the boost away as only Decker was able to get the corner, but maybe that's enough. He'll get the shot on. Torsos there, gets the touch and gets the follow. Single man defense.
That's huge, and just shows so much confidence from Torsos here, coming out in game number 3, the final series number 3. If you've just joined us, ladies and gentlemen, firstly, where have you been? You're watching just I think there's no argument. We are the most entertaining region. You can say what you want skill-wise, stuff like that. We're the most entertaining. Jules, this is what we need from you, brother. Show us something. Cringe Society, they get the first goal here in game number 3.
And this is what we saw in the first series. Jules playing forward, Drippe and Decker getting big clears to him, and they have the lead now. It's really important they keep hold of it.
And something always good against Ground Zero to get a quick counter-attack, because they do like pushing up, especially if their confidence levels and the aggression that they've been going for. But it's a double-edged sword. That's why Ground Zero is so good, is that if you give them the room to get on attack, they sometimes just score out of nowhere.
They've just been super the whole time. It's hard to say what Cringe Society need to do here, but Jules, if he's getting goals like that, I'm feeling it. He found the opportunity, found the opening. Torsos, though, here he goes. There's his opportunity. The double touch. I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, he hits those 9 times out of 10, and when the pressure's at its highest, he delivers.
God, you just knew almost, like, even before the first touch, it was just set up so beautifully for that kind of classic Torsos double touch he's been doing for years now. And like you say, CJ, even with more pressure on the board, it somehow makes you more confident that he's going to hit it.
It was great because he was doing that in warm-ups too. That's what he was practicing. And to see it come out onto the pitch, on game, under pressure, with $70,000 on the line, $100,000 total, that is immense from Torso. So now Memphis, he backs it up. He even improves on it.
Stop it! Amphis with the flip reset, double touch, ladies and gentlemen. I just joked about perhaps OCE not being the most skillful region, but when you see stuff like that, this man is clipping on kids in a $100,000 match. Amphis, welcome to the party.
Just beautiful. I don't know how these guys do it. It's hard enough to do that in free play, let alone against the best players in OCE in the most important match they have to play. And another one. They're just running away with this.
Another double. Amphis over to Torsos. And I can't believe he goes to the pass back or to go for what is actually a triple touch to get that one in.
I think he went for the double off the wall because Drip, he was waiting for the shot, waiting for the redirect, so he put it behind him and got the double and the ground pitch as well. This man is feeling it, and this, Jake, is when Ground Zero are at their scariest. And perhaps there's not many teams in the world that could have an answer for this kind of offense.
No, it'd be so exciting to watch them come up against a BDS and NRG Space Station. Just can see what they could do against another region, because you can see just the clips they come up with is just insane.
Here we go again. He's just playing with him. He's sitting downfield. He's taking the boost. He's going off the ceiling. This man is just feeling himself. We talked about it before, Yummy, just the way that he doesn't feel pressure. Doesn't matter the situation, what moment in the game it is. He's just happy to be himself, play with confidence, and just have a bit of fun.
That's why I want to see him at Worlds, because here's this young guy who's never been to a LAN, let alone Worlds, and he's still been able to play under pressure in every single scenario because he just doesn't care. He's just having a good laugh, and all he wants is a bit of cash for whatever he does on the weekend.
Yeah, Amphis just, it's so incredible. And we were talking about it before. You can see why he is just so respected. Just when he's playing his best, he just scores these goals out of nowhere. But Cringe Society's starting to bring it back, and now it's only a 1-goal game.
I mean, the haters would call it an own goal, but it was almost a great save there from Torsos. Oh, just doesn't get the touch coming out off the crossbar. It goes straight down back on his car. Great shot from Decker to put that one away. And draw it closer. I mean, we've pumped up Ground Zero, but Cringe Society, they're still alive in this game. They're still alive in this series. There's a chance here to get a nice little late goal, and we've seen it so many times before throughout this matchup where Cringe Society, they've clutched up. And this is another opportunity where they have to clutch up.
And they're still showing those signs of infield passes, which I really like. When they're playing like that, they are able to take down the top teams. They combine it usually with the demos. We haven't seen them come out here, but with a minute left, we may see that go forward as Express wants to get the 2-goal lead just to prevent Cringe Society from coming back.
And a fake coming out of Amphis, not able to capitalize it on it just yet. You can see Cringe Society, they're really focusing on keeping this demo. Jules trying to take it to the wall, but it doesn't feel like Ground Zero are going to give them a chance. They're stepping up in defense too.
Oh, just a great save coming out as well from Amphis. There's the shot, there's the equalizer. Out of nowhere, Ground Zero, they're clipping on kids, but the clinical Cringe Society, they've got all the answers.
Oh, such a good first touch. Decker with a delicate touch. The defenders were expecting him to bang it in, top corner like he always does, and he's fooled them with that change of play.
Just great pressure there coming out of Cringe Society, just forcing those 2 soft clears coming out, rotating really quickly, pushing those players forward. Amphis again, still feeling very good to make those plays happen.
Tons of opportunities for both these teams, but so important here for Cringe Society. They need to win this game. Reverse sweeping for the championship, not really on the cards. So we head towards it overtime, potentially a 0-second goal, but looks like the last opportunity will go over to Ground Zero. Torsos potentially going underneath, tried to fake it out. Amphis gets it into middle, but Turpe will be the first one there. Gets it to the middle and overtime here in a very important game.
Yeah, Ground Zero, they're having a bit of fun, but they were still pretty happy to kill that one. It would have been interesting to see if they tried to keep it up, but here we go, overtime. The most important overtime of both these teams, I guess, history, their careers, you could say, for both these teams since they've formed, because a win here for Ground Zero sees them on match point, and we spoke about earlier, the reverse sweep in a best of 7 is so hard, especially against the Ground Zero team. So Cringe Society, Jake, this is a must win.
Yeah, it's really, the pressure is on for them, and I'm hoping they push forward. We've seen how good they are in the dying seconds of each game, but I feel like they might go into their shells in overtime, so I'm really looking for them to push forward.
There's only been 13 best of 7 reverse sweeps in all of RLCS history, though one of them was against this Ground Zero roster earlier on. So Just see how important that is. And this one's right in front, but Amphis was the first one there, and he'll get the follow-up. But this is a good attacking opportunity here for Cringe Society if they can get possession of the ball as they've drained the boost away. Decker challenging in the midfield to make sure that there's no potential attacking opportunity or even clearing opportunity for Ground Zero.
I mean, that was just ridiculous from Amphis. He missed the touch in the corner and still got a flip reset to beat his opponent. He's so creative on the ball and he just makes it up as he goes along. But here we go, tosses on the wall. He can get a pass out and Express was there, can't get it away. Now Amphis is deep, one-on-one situation. Jules, can he dribble past him? Can't get the fake. Amphis is answering every single question that Jules is posing to him.
Cool, and look, he's probably going to get a flip reset now as well. Yeah, beats everyone. Express almost follows it. Ground Zero is so dangerous, but Cringe Society as well, defending really well and showing chances of their own on the counterattack.
That was such a scary moment, though, for Ground Zero with the double commit. They did manage to pull out in time and get back on defense. Express is forward, but goes too far in front of him as we are well into this overtime. And again, a most important overtime is Drippe. It goes straight to Torsos. Jules has to get a follow-up touch here.
Not a good touch.
He manages to get just down to Drippe for the clear.
That was absolutely hard in mouth stuff there. Jules couldn't get the second touch. We know he wanted it. He wanted to catch it. This is open. Drip's going to be able to put it away. No, he's not. Torsos. Great save. Decker does though. No, it's off the bar again. Cringe Society. That could absolutely cost them. That was the golden opportunity.
God, that was really
even. Wow.
Tell us what we're seeing.
Drippe. So we head towards that 3-minute mark. We saw an incredibly long overtime between Queso and Solary earlier on. And now, we see another. Oh, Express gets the goal. It's been cleared down. Amphis gets the follow-up. He gets the bump. And he gets the extra touch. That is insane.
Stop it, Amphis. Stop it. There's the bump. This kid, we talked about it before. He doesn't care. Whatever the situation, whatever the moment, 3.5 minutes into overtime. Cringe Society, they had their chances, but Ground Zero, they took theirs. And they move on to match point, Oceanic Championship point, Jake. They're looking strong.
God, like Amphis, he gets the bump, he gets bumped by the bump, and then still has the state of mind to pass it. It looked like it just came out of nowhere because it did, and that's what Amphis does on this Ground Zero roster, just gets these goals out of absolutely nowhere, and that's so disappointing. It really felt like Cringe Society were keeping up with Ground Zero. They were so close to a goal there, but now they have to reverse sweep against a Ground Zero playing this well.
It still looks like no timeout called. Very interesting, but Torsos in the second series picked it up, but now you're seeing the full might and firepower of Amphis, fully functional, and he is trying to take down Cringe Society in what could be a full-on sweep to earn themselves 70K.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Strap yourselves in. This is it. Championship point. The pressure's at its highest. Can Cringe Society respond, or will the best team all year, Ground Zero, just showcase to the world just how good they are? Jake, I'm pumped. Here we go. Can they do it?
Honestly, I'm almost expecting like another 4-1 or a 5-1. Ground Zero have to be feeling so good after that game. Amphis has been popping off all series, and I think Ground Zero are going to have a lot of fun to try and finish this out with a clean 4-0 to end it.
Ooh, Express almost getting the double, but it's so hard to defend when it feels like even when Amphis is making mistakes, it still works out for him, and he's set it up beautifully here for Torsos.
Right on cue, the two offensive powerhouse duo, we'll call them, Amphis and Torsos. Drip couldn't get the touch. It was a great pass from Tors off the backboard. Amphis gets the opening goal in potentially the final game for the OCE season.
And so much trust for Amphis there. He got such a beautiful touch across, but now Jules getting a chance of his own. A really beautiful double touch. Torsos even misses, and that could haunt Jules if they can't get another goal soon.
I mean, the consistency at the other end of the pitch. If they had that double, all of Ground Zero are getting that on target, but Jules has just felt a little bit off today, and mechanically, he's usually one of the best. But Ground Zero are the best mechanical trio in OC. All three of them really high up there as individuals.
100%, and there's a great pass from Express. He had the solo bump in defense. He took it all the way down the pitch himself, off the wall, faked out Jules. He double-backed. Decker wasn't ready for the pass infield, and Torsos puts the second goal away. We could just be witnessing a masterclass here in game number 4, Jake.
There's so much trust coming out of Ground Zero. If you don't defend perfectly, they're just going to take these chances. They're going to score these assists. And Cringe Society, they're going to need to bring it back. But you can see just how threatening Ground Zero are with every single touch in front of Cringe Society's net.
Well, 3 minutes left, so still plenty of time for Cringe Society, but we have to remember this would be number 14 in terms of best of 7 reverse sweeps. It seems so unlikely, especially given the form of these two teams. It's kind of how we expected it to go, but what can Cringe Society bring out of their pocket? We know they're a good team. Is it good enough to take a second series of Ground Zero?
Oh, it's just so hard from this point. I mean, 2 goals down, 3 minutes left. We have to see something, but when the defense is looking this hot, when the offense is looking this hot from Ground Zero, as we said all year, no team has really had an answer to them, and right now they're looking to perform. Torsos does put that one away. A 3rd goal on the board, and it's exactly as you predicted, Jake. They're running away from this one.
Yeah, it's just brutal. Cringe Society, they're getting beat in defense. They can't keep up with Ground Zero. Ground Zero, they're trusting each other. It's just Ground Zero, they're going to want more. They're going to want to get that 6-0, 7-0, even though this is such an important game to close out the series.
I really love how Torsos slowed down that shot as well, made sure that he could put that and the perfect placement. And when you've got a player, or you got Cringe Society rushing to these balls, it really opens it up a lot more. Halfway through this potentially final game is Ground Zero firmly in control of it.
You can see Drippe trying to get a shot there, trying to get something back on these counterattacks, and it almost works out, but Jules again missing. He needs to be hitting those if they want to make this a comeback happen.
Oh, it's just heartbreaking there coming out from Cringe Society. Again, we saw the double touch missed opportunity earlier from Jules that would have equalised the game, but again, we just see opportunities gone begging, and against the Ground Zero that is just so in form, this is just, it's true, you just have to make the most of the opportunities. As another save comes out from Torsos. Oh my goodness, there it is. Finally, we see a goal coming out from Cringe Society with 2 minutes left, 2 goals. There's still a chance, ladies and gentlemen.
It had to happen eventually. There was a triple commit that started all that one. Torso still almost getting a touch of that one. Oh, Cringe Society, a late game comeback potentially on the cards. So they're fighting tooth and nail for this one.
And you can see, again, they're so good when they push these players forward. It's what I wish we could see from them all the time, because Ground Zero don't really have an answer to it, but this is the danger that comes with pushing forward. These counterattack opportunities that Ground Zero are equally good at scoring.
Decker is here at the back. He's looking for that clear up to Jules that we have been seeing, but a bit awkward there for Drippe to receive, and we're no longer seeing Cringe Society push hard. As Jake was saying, they're now on the defense where they have been strong all series, but not strong enough against such a firepower of Ground Zero, and they have held on. They need to be at the other end.
I mean, now for Ground Zero, I think they're just going to soak up the clock. They'll probably go for some more solo plays. Jules not quite getting the touch he needs. The double commit coming out from Cringe, but I think this is what we see, what they do so well. They're such a disciplined team, Ground Zero. They have a lot of fun, but they know how to ice games out. They know how to close out the clock and kill a lot of time. Having said that, Cringe Society, they're still looking to push forward.
Yeah, and you can see they're trying to make passes happen, but mechanically it's just not as crisp as we're seeing from Ground Zero. They're not able to find each other. It's a bit too slow, and Ground Zero, they're in such a good opportunity. 2 goals for Cringe Society that have been struggling all series, and they only have 47 seconds left.
Even there, they just can't push up close enough, but that's a good shot, and Jules brings it within 1. He was struggling a little bit earlier, but now he's found the net.
Huge play there coming out, and 43 seconds. We've spoken about it all match. This is it, Cringe Society. They've been clutch up to this point in the desperate, dire situations. Well, I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, there has never been a situation that has been more dire for Cringe Society than right here. They need 1 goal. They've got 40 seconds on the clock. Can they do it?
Oh, Express, I can't believe he gets that touch. But maybe still disaster. Evers just getting that away, and they're somehow clear.
Oh, and Torsos almost gets a beautiful counterattack. The ball almost getting gifted to him. Drippe almost with a chance as well. You can see both teams very nervous in these final seconds.
Really slowing that one down. There's only 16 seconds left. Any slowdown is advantage here for Ground Zero as 10 seconds rings. Amphis going to keep it away from one. Just solo rocking down the clock. Another shot on target as Drippe, the last hope here for Cringe Society. Is he going to be able to get it all the way to the other end? He can't! Ground Zero do it. They take the last game and they take the championship.
The best team all year, ladies and gentlemen. One of the best teams in the world for a reason. And they've shown up on the biggest stage of the year, the RLCS OCE Championship. Cringe Society, they just couldn't quite meet it there. But Ground Zero, they take it out 2-1. What a series, Jake. What a performance from Amphis, Torsos, and Express. And just what a cohesive unit they've been all year long.
It is just so well deserved. These guys were incredible when they formed, but they've just gotten better and better, more dominant, and you even saw throughout this series, even able to make that comeback after losing that first series and just showing just what they're made of with their incredible offense and that consistency to back it up.
Ground Zero with a massive final. They have absolutely dominated, and that's it. Ground Zero are your OCE champions.
Baby, I just wanna be alone. I don't need your company, stop blowing up my phone. Hey, you don't get the things that I've been through, and I don't have the time to lay it all in front of you. I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself.
Ball, earn possession, make sure you've got it. Fever with a bad clear. Jules to nail it. This time he's not gonna miss.
Tortos off the ceiling now. We'll poke it down to Amphis, who's going for the air dribble. Deca, and he gets the dunk over Jules. This is a little preview of what we get in this best of 7, James. Overtime in the first game, and an air dribble bump from Torsos.
Meanwhile, Drippe the other way gets the flip reset and actually takes Torsos out. Amphis will steal it downfield to Express. Good save. Looking for a pass middle, but no one's there, and Amphis will start the drive. Does he have the flip?
Oh, my Lord.
Ground Zero off to a hot start.
Has been blocked out by Ground Zero, who now take it around the corner in front of net. It's still in front of net, and Torsos will find a freebie. 30 seconds here, and Ground Zero will have an attack. They get the demo, it's open! The gates are open! Torsos will fling it in.
And there it is, Ground Zero, your Oceanic champions. It has been a what a journey for them. All season long, they dominate. They scare everyone and all fans at the beginning there by giving up the first one, Gibbs, but they pull it through and they take the title of champion.
So I want to talk about Game 3, because in Game 3, it was the epitome of both teams. Ground Zero, within 40 seconds, puts up 3 top 5 plays, double tap after double tap after double tap. But on the other side, Cringe Society, they didn't back down. They tied that game as well. And then who other than Amphis, who I think everyone's calling probably the MVP of the whole year, with a bump play to win that overtime. And then you just knew we were 5 minutes away at that point, Subi.
Yeah, it was just the challenge game too good from Ground Zero. Every time you thought Cringe Society would have an open look on net, someone from Ground Zero there was challenging the ball and immediately turning it into offense. Just too high powered at the end of the day.
Amphis really was on another level, and we saw. And the thing is, Amphis was on that level for all 3 series today. The shining light of this roster in that first series loss was Amphis, and when the rest of his team came up to meet him and set him up for success, it was lights out to the races. They're the champs easily.
Well, we got to bring him back down to our level because he's way beyond what we'll ever hit so that he can talk to us and hear us when we talk to him in this interview. Amphis, your champion, your OCE champion. Congratulations on the victory.
Cheers, lads. It was a bit closer than we wanted, but we got there.
It is. I want to talk to you about that. It was quite the series. I think a lot of people out there were expecting this to be one of the fastest series maybe we've seen based off of your guys' performance over the rest of the season here. But Cringe Society came out and maybe caught you guys off guard. Can you walk us through what was going on at the beginning of the series there that made you guys snap back?
Well, we thought usually just in like the regionals and the majors, we're really slow first series. And then we also didn't have a warm up. So we were just 1v1ing each other, trying to get the mech up a bit.
Yeah.
And then we were just like, I think just because it was a championship, we got a bit scared. We were sitting back a lot more than we usually did. And then in the second series, we just went for it because we're better than them, like individually. And it seemed to work.
So once that happened, Series 2 happens, where you guys dominate. Did you know that it was in the bag at that point?
Yeah, like we didn't say it because we didn't want to get overconfident, but I think we knew, to be honest.
Amphis, we saw you doing so much in all three of these series. What is your favorite type of goal to score?
It's definitely the redirects, like the skims. I don't think I actually scored one today, but redirects were pretty good.
Yeah.
So, you said that you felt it early on that it was going to happen, this win coming through. When did it come to realization for you, like, oh, this is happening and I'm about to be a champion of the Oceanic region?
At the end, when the last game ended, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Just stay focused on the game until the very end, and it seemed to work.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I want to talk looking forward before we let you go here because, that obviously you guys dominated. There's a reason you guys were the favorite, and then you realized it yourself. You're like, oh wait, no, we're better. Let's just do that. Be better, and you win. How far behind do you think the rest of the do you think they're getting close? Do you feel like maybe without jinxing it, your reign might last just a little bit longer here, confidently?
I'll give it another 4 years, I reckon.
Whoa.
Top for 4 more years. Yeah, I know.
Right.
It's pretty confident.
So how many roster changes are going to happen? Because teams are going to want to catch up to you at this point. So do you think everyone's swapping around?
It does look like it, to be honest. It's pretty hard to find scrims at the moment because there's so many changes. We really went into this a bit underprepared because there's no one really playing the game at the moment. It's very unfortunate.
Created your own enemy, your own problem.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Well, you know what then? I'm going to give you the stage right now. You're amped up. I want you to go celebrate with your team and everybody else. So I want to give you the stage real quick. You are the Oceanic champion for Season X. So the floor is yours. Whatever you want to say out to the world.
Thanks for watching, everyone. This is peak viewage for OCE probably at the moment. Shout out to Jimmer, the coach, for the entire season. He's helped us the entire time. Follow all of us on our Twitter. Mine especially. Don't really care about the others mostly. Just mine. Thanks for watching.
There it is. Amphis, your Oceanic champion from Ground Zero. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a good one.
Cheers, guys.